call the meeting to order at 7:01. Vanderbeek.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Mark. Dunkirk.
Here.
Gatsky.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Iverson.
Here.
Sorensen here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda, amended agenda that was sent out?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Public comment? None. Okay, approve secretary's report for, it would be October.
Oh, did I haven't changed that, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't change it either. Because we already approved September, so it's October.
I'll move to approve.
You took my timetable seriously.
Second.
Is there a second?
I'll-
Thank you, Gary. All those in favor, please signify by saying,
Who
what?
seconded?
Gary,
Because I heard Tom a second ago.
I didn't hear.
Well, give it to Tom.
Okay, give it to Tom. We're gonna be real diplomatic tonight. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Treasurer's report. Heather, did you wanna talk about that, or do you want me to talk?
You can talk.
Okay. You can see we have 85% of our revenues in. Heather has, there's gonna be a check for the fire protection fees that's deposited yet, and then later on in the meeting, there is a donation to approve. Okay, I don't know what it is.
We just talked about it last time, but we didn't have it on the agenda to
Okay.
approve it.
Well, I don't remember that part.
So,
And then the expenditures are actually they're 89.75, but we don't have all the revenues.
no, I got checks and that,
Yeah.
I have to, deposit, that'll be done tomorrow.
So then you can look at the bills and apply payments if you have any questions. You can see the turnout gear has been,
It's starting, yeah, we bought, 3 sets of turnout gear, so the bills are starting to come in for that.
How do you do that when you just, if somebody new comes, somebody leaves, you use that gear over again?
Right,
Why do you size that, or is it just all,
they're
it's
just,
just all too big?
it's kind, well, it's kind of, we kind of like try and get them in the right size gear as close as we can to what they fit in. So we could get to use it over and over again, so.
Actually works pretty good.
any other questions? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the payable and treasurer's report. Mark,
I'll make a motion.
thank you. Is there a second? Jonathan? Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey, chief's report. You guys have at it.
Okay, we'll start off with the calls for service for October. You all should have a list in front of you. Nothing spectacular. On the back here, you'll see, and down at the bottom, number of fire members at the end of October is 19. October, we participated in security for the vice president visit to the college. Cross-country team, which I spoke with a little bit the last meeting, came and watched our rig for the parade for the homecoming. Donovan here participated in trunk or treat event that we had downtown. And also, we had 2 rigs out on Sunday for the trick or treating event. One on the north side, one on the south side of town. You'll see there the calls for October were 27, which is the same for this year, but it's still 51 up from last year. Fire inspections are done. I do believe you have most of the paperwork ready to
The city got their paperwork on the 30th,
hand out.
and then the townships will get theirs tomorrow. I just have to finish putting it into the spreadsheet. And then Tom Nevia's gonna get theirs. in the next week.
We have a question for you guys. There's never been anybody gone into Triarc, right?
Yeah, no, we've gone in there
Oh,
before.
have we?
Yeah,
Do we inspect them?
Nope.
They let us do that, okay, all right, I thought we didn't, so.
yeah, no,
We had a little problem getting in there this year.
this year, cause they only work part-time,
Oh,
so we had to, it was constant going there to check to make sure somebody was there,
okay,
so.
that was my question, so it's in the town, right?
So also I'll comment a little bit, the Harris standby, we had, I had Brandon Fairwater Fire Department stand by our station that day. We had 5 guys of our own up at the college in an engine. I was there as well, and I was in the fire hall with the Secret Service. So Brandon came here and manned our station for about 6 hours, I think it was. And while they were here, they did a lot of stuff around our station. They really helped us out. We had a bent up bumper on one of our rigs. They took the time and straightened the bumper out and fixed things and tidied things up, cleaned things. So I want to give them guys a kudos. They really helped us out a lot. So also with the staffing, we do have 2 of our wildland firefighters are back now. Firefighter Schmidt and Firefighter Besson. Is that right?
Yep.
Are back. So those 2 are here to help us out as well now. So.
Must have like that some help at Utica's, huh?
Yep, we had, Utica Fire there, the Marsh Fire, we were there a 3 times.
You said Schmidt over there.
Yeah, some of the wildland guys go to that usually, but, we haven't spoke much on morale lately, morale used to be on the agenda here, so, morale is, actually really good around here lately. We have, firefighters coming down to the station at their own will and working on things down here. One of them was the brush rig that we had over at Utica. The bushings went out of the A-arms and the 20-year-old 6-wheeler we have, the Wildland rig. So he came down on his own, replaced it. He went and picked up all the parts. He fixed that really nice. Cooper's been stepping up down here and just taking care of whatever needs to be done. So morale is really on the up. So I think that's all I have.
All right, then my portion, during my last couple months here, last month, been helping with getting the inspections done. So there was still quite a few left to go, and I think, between Heather and I, we went a couple times together to knock some out. I went with the day crew a couple times to knock some out, so, even, Chief Boers and I did a couple apartments one day, so. But give a lot of credit to the day crew. They did a lot of inspections in the last month here or 2. So so those are done. We have been working on, as we started 3-4 months ago, the officer classes. So the last class was we worked on kind of doing like strategy, how to assign tasks to engine companies, ladder companies when they arrive on scene. So we've, like I said, each time we've had an officer class, we've kind of progressed from the time the alarm comes in, what they're thinking about while they're en route, what they do when they get on scene, and now what to do, how to assign tasks. The next couple times we'll kind of dive into more tactics and what officers are going to be looking for, talk about incoming mutual aid companies, that type of thing. So they're doing a great job doing size up, so that other groups know what's going on when they arrive on scene. So it's gone really well. one of the other things that we talked about is that, in the past with, me being at Nina Menasha and at, the town of Harrison at one time, at the end of the year, I always called it, fire officer planning camp. And what we did was we spent a few hours on a Saturday, or an evening, and we took the time to just discuss all the different topics of all different things going on in the department and kind of setting a plan and goals for the following year. And so I had brought that up at the officer meeting that we had, and I think the officers were, thought that was a great idea because they get to have some input and thought about what we should be doing. So it's all kinds of things, right? You spend some money on strategic plan, and I don't want that just to go away, because then in a few years, if you don't look at it, then it's basically starting over again. So I would really like to have the officers figure out where we're at with that, what we need to do to finish and to continue, and then figure out what some of the goals are for the next year or so. What can we tackle? And then, I don't know if you know, but in some of the office, the chief office, and then the other meeting room, I got a board full of all kinds of topics. And I really wanna start utilizing those topics and breaking down what's most important to the officers here. What should we tackle? And then utilize those things to plan for 25. And a big portion of that will be like training. What training topics do we wanna tackle? Let's get them into a schedule so that training is known at least for the first 6 months, and if we can tackle the whole year, great. Now, obviously, it's fluid, so things change, weather changes, whatever, but at least there's topics that we know what the plan is there. And so I think having the input of the officers and the members who have officer certification, I think that's a good, it's a good tool to help teach them the plan, but it's also a good bonding, teamwork type thing where you build trust and you're trying to, tackle things together, make decisions together. It isn't just coming from one person or two persons, it's coming from the team, right? That kind of a team building. So we will do that at our November meeting here, and if we don't finish or get to the point where we feel comfortable, we'll try and figure out a day in December. But that's my plan, and I think we'll be able to accomplish a lot and answer a lot of how to move forward questions and what to tackle. So there's lots of stuff. We're not gonna accomplish everything in one, couple hour evening, but I think the process will be good for the officers. And so that's and I have a kudos to give too. We had a couple of times I've run to Oshkosh Fire and Police to repair like an SCBA or something. And so the last time I took one there, I dropped it off, and they're like, "Oh, we can just fix that right now." So I just waited a few minutes. They ran in and brought the SCBA out, and I'm like, "Oh, just can you print me out an invoice?" "Yep, don't worry about it." So give them a kudos. I know they do our fit and flow testing, and they've repaired some of our other equipment, and so I just want to give them appreciate that they're able to do that for us. Any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Okay, old business, P.
What was the job description?
Oh, job description.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Job description. So I put together a job description for chief engineer, and this was a position that's new to me. I have not had in any of the departments that I was chief of. Have chief engineer. We have engineers, of course, but not somebody that oversees, except the training chief that would teach our drivers and things like that. So I still think it's a great position to have. That person's almost like a mentor to young drivers, to current drivers, and he would be the person that oversees, the equipment on the truck, making sure, some maintenance that, periodically need to be done, and especially doing the training for the drivers. So this was a position, correct, in the department.
Yeah.
And so I just put together a job
This was an
description.
existing position, you
Randy
just,
Klepper had it, and then he
and
he
it was
retired and
never
then just never
refilled.
got filled.
Yeah, so,
Oh,
yeah, so I put a job description together, I sent it out, to some of the drivers, Coop looked it over. And so again, this can always be fluid and we can bring it back if something isn't working, but, it does highlight, what what they would be doing, what their abilities are, some of the duties that we would expect. And then it looked for, as far as experience goes, who would be qualified to be the lead chief engineer. Because it's so hard to get, there's so much time in between different types of certifications, it's not always run every, month. I did put some timelines though to having that person, whoever it is, have some of these important certifications to be the chief engineer. That's the driver operator, pumper part 1 and 2, and if they could get the driver operator aerial. So that would be some of the stipulations to being a chief engineer. So
did you have a job description before?
we couldn't find one. No,
Oh, okay,
no.
and they don't get paid extra for it?
They get, yes, they get a stipend at the end of the year, it's just like a captain or a lieutenant.
Oh, okay,
It's built, I believe it's built into the,
budget,
budget.
oh, okay. It's kind of new to me, so I just had some questions. Are there any other questions?
Is there anyone, they think?
Is there anyone
Qualified.
qualified?
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Well,
was there anyone qualified or was there anyone, on staff right now that's interested in moving to this position?
Possibly one or two maybe,
But yeah.
we do have one that is qualified now.
Yeah.
He has the qualifications that we were looking for here,
most of
so.
them, yeah, most of them, so.
So are you asking, oh, it's an action item, so you're asking to approve the job description, okay. Is there a motion to approve the job description?
I'll make a motion to approve the job description for chief engineer.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. Is there further discussion, because it's new to me, I'm not sure if it's probably new to several people.
Well, I guess my opinion is Kevin and these three are gonna know more about what has to be in here than
Yeah.
any of us put together.
What I grabbed this from is really a job description for a driver engineer. And then added some classes and some expectations based on the way Ripon Fire does things. So, being, like I said, maybe in a different department, the instructor is the one, if they have a fire department instructor, they're doing it. But this way, you have, the chief engineer already has has experience with driving and is almost like an instructor anyway. Has the certifications and then, has more one-on-one time just with drivers. And the young kids that are coming up, moving up, that wanna drive at some point can start to begin to mentor them, maybe put a small training program together for them and just kinda ease them into the driving. That's one of the, driving is one of those things that, a lot of injuries to firefighters because of driving or not having enough time behind the wheel because of the weight of the apparatus plus carrying that water both in an engine and a tender, right, because of the water capacity. So whoever takes us over, obviously will vet that process out as best we can, but we do have some good people here that can fulfill that position, we think, right away. So
Then we'd be approving just the job description, not as far as who or
not,
if it's
No.
gonna be.
correct, we would open it up to
Yeah.
whoever would like to apply at some point,
Group post it.
and post it and go through that process.
entry-level driver operator, these guys already have these, or they have to go back to Appleton or what?
Some might,
Some do, some.
Yeah, if you were
Yeah.
just coming on, you probably wouldn't, you know, the guys that are driving the truck now, they're gonna have to go to Appleton to get certified by those
Well,
guys?
some of them might have like a different certification that was at the time when they took the
Equivalent.
class. And so then they, if you look at the very last, I don't have one in front of
It
me.
does say something equivalent.
Right, something equivalent, and then it says on the discretion of the chief has sole discretion, so if they have a certificate that says they took it back in, I don't wanna put a date, but I
Yes,
think.
yes.
But you know, and then you can say, well, that was a certificate at that time, so yeah, that would
That'll
work.
work.
It's just that that's what the title is
I
now,
was just wondering if
Yeah.
we have on now that are driving, if they can
yeah,
do that, or if they have to do another.
yeah.
could I say they're grandfathered?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, some of
Yeah.
them
That's a
would be
good way to say
grandfathered.
Yeah, so you know,
So we're
they're,
moving forward today with this, so
but the
anybody moving-
certifications,
right,
you
everybody
know,
else would be
other
grandfathered.
than, yeah, so it's like anybody new coming on would, there's certain,
Right, I can see if, you know, you got your kids coming on and
Correct.
they would need something.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description.
Oh, I think we already have one. I think we're just having discussion
Yeah,
right
we
now.
got a motion and a second already.
All those in favor, that's okay. I like that, keep it moving. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. So you can get to do your thing. All right, old business, PAA update. I met, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, what about this, other fire prevention officer?
it's farther down,
Is it farther
New
down?
business.
Oh, I apologize, I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing something. Okay.
Okay. PAA update, it's short. I met with them last week and they decided to wait until after the election to call the elected people to get meetings with each of you, and they'll meet individually. I've asked them to meet with all the elected officials in like, you have another person on a village town board and your town board, but they can't meet with all of you together because then the meeting has to be noticed. So they'll meet, they wanna meet with you individually and chat with you, so when you get a phone, is it Tim Franz is his
It is
name?
Tim
What's the
Franz.
other guy's name?
Jim also.
Jim lost it.
Just in case it comes up on your phone with possibly Tim Franz or
Jim.
Jim
Jim
Halstead.
Halstead, take the call and set up an appointment. But they were concerned that if they called prior to the election, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't answer any of that stuff, I just send it away. So they didn't wanna get lost in the shuffle. So, okay, any questions on that?
But they've already had 2 months that they could have been doing this months ago.
I don't know what to tell you. Cause I just met with them for the first time and they wanted me to tell them how I thought they should meet with the elected officials. Like, quickly.
As soon as you can.
Yeah, so let's move on to new business, unless there are any other questions. Did you have another one?
Have they met with firefighters or anything?
I don't think so.
I mean, they've been in by me getting like reports and stuff like that, but not to have like a sit down.
Are they going to?
I thought they
I
were,
think you should ask them that. I know they haven't met with anybody on city council except for me for the first time last week, and it's taken me a few days to, get over that, so.
Was that rough?
It wasn't rough, but
there's a lot of,
it's not rough, it's like you have a different skill set than I do, so you're gonna understand
What do
some
you
of,
mean by that?
well, you're gonna understand some of the stuff that they're talking about, whereas I don't know from trucks and I don't know from stuff like that.
I mean,
Yeah, engines, I mean. See, I don't even know the right word. I'm an old administrator, that's where my head is.
I think left yourself open there.
So I think it's good to just have a very candid conversation. like I did.
Do you know when they might propose this, or have an idea when it's gonna come
The
to?
time frame, I don't think it's gonna come to city council until January. Cause they're hired through the end of the year to do this.
Why is it going to the city council?
Because we paid for it.
Cause it would be, if it's combined, we would have to pay for it. Plus, it's a policy issue. Administration can't, they can recommend a policy, but they can't enforce it. The city council does that.
But the city council, they can't make the decision to combine the two.
I don't know how it's gonna work.
I mean, maybe you wanna do it. But, you know, there's some other municipalities.
Right, and that's why they have to talk to you guys. You know everything I know.
I know that.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Committee for hiring a prevention specialist. Who do you, what do you want somebody on? I don't think I have that. Yep, I do.
So that's what this job description's for, Doug?
I see that now, thank you,
Yeah.
Assistant Chief.
Prevention specialist.
Yeah.
Prevention specialist.
Oh, yeah, officer specialist, same thing. It's for that.
It says fire prevention officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
On that it does, here it says prevention
Specialist.
specialist,
Oh,
so this,
whatever.
Probably just need a clarification of which
Yeah.
term we're gonna
Yeah,
use
which
moving
term,
forward.
which.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your recommendation for a committee?
I'm just asking if we're gonna have a committee so that we can, if we want, we can post this and we can, so that come January first, we're ready to hit the ground running for inspections. Cause I got 10 months to get them all done.
Well, right now, when you've been hiring, I've been sitting in on those. Does anybody else wanna sit in on this?
This is to do what exactly?
This is for inspections,
Inspections,
education.
fire, or pub ed, so the person would be, in charge of making sure fire inspections are getting done, doing the fire inspections, doing pub ed. They'll be on the day shift, so they'll be taking a shift on the day shift.
It'd be one of those four.
And then,
So it's people we already have.
it could be, yeah, it's gonna take
Or
one of
just-
the positions of that, yes.
this would be a full-time position though.
Right, yes.
Full-time position.
Which was approved in the budget for
Yep.
25.
So what she's asking for is she's looking for interviewing help for, in January when the,
To get that person.
to get that person hired. Right now, we're usually with the chiefs and
And,
Kelly.
I guess I just make the recommendation, we probably don't need a committee, but I think you could just open it to anyone on the board if they wanted to. If we just sent an email, said, hey, here's the time and date, you know, if you're able to make it, please make it. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, cause I can't imagine it take more than just one interview session or whatever.
right, yeah,
Or
but one maybe
It
one
isn't gonna be a
night.
2-day thing, it'll be a
Typically,
1 day,
it's an interview session and then,
a follow-up maybe.
if needed, but then the PD does the background check on anybody that is considered. And if they don't pass the background check, they're done. If their references don't return the calls, they're done. Because we've had people apply and then none of their references will call back to give them references. Well, then they're done. Yes, Doug?
But we might not need to have all the other stuff done if they're already part of the department, correct? Because we've already hired them.
If they've already been vetted, yeah.
So we don't need, but if it's someone new.
So you
Yeah.
knew,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
But that's why you post the position, so you
Right.
can get different applicants.
Well, I would move that we can post the position, and open the hiring process to any board members who are interested in being involved in the hiring process.
there a second?
A second.
Is there any more discussion?
I think so. Okay, so this is just get somebody to write up a job description and do all that. And then we're gonna go out and try to hire somebody, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a full-time position.
Yeah.
All right, so, do we even know how many hours this is gonna take? I mean, this isn't like.
It's a 40-hour-a-week position. Cause whenever they're not doing inspections or doing fire prevention
Prevention.
training, they're backing her up too with scheduling, with fire calls, with EO, what is it?
There's
Yes,
hose testing,
Those-
there's
all that stuff.
maintenance on rigs that can be pulled, and he's just not gonna be an inspector, he's gonna be a multitasker, which it states in this thing here.
And
Do
the
we-
chief, I found out, and you probably know this, of the 4 people on staff as part of the inspections, a fire chief does not count toward that 4. That's what I was told. The fire chief, so if we had a fire chief and 3 people, we're not meeting the standards of the Wisconsin,
That's correct.
how do we call it, the Wisconsin,
It's the, your 2%, well, it's not two
It's for
percent,
our audit.
it's your audit, yes, it's your classification, so, class 1, it rates, it's your rating, right, your ISO rating, so that gives you, hey, we got 3 people, 4 people responding within a certain amount of time to a call, that's how you're rated in your ISO for insurance services. So, but the fire chief does not count, it's the other staff members that count, for whatever reason, they don't count the fire chief.
I just
So,
knew that, I didn't.
yeah.
Maybe we don't need one.
Well, that'd be why you could move to a part-time fire chief, save on that, and then you have a full-time position hired to
Yeah.
get all the day-to-day.
Yeah, even when we did our, had our audit done for ISO for Nina Menasha, and we're calling our daily staff, even though I was there every day or whatever, I was not counted as a responding member. It's the other, from deputy chief down.
You were just considered not fit. Sorry,
Apparently.
not fit for the job.
I had no idea about that, I just, like I
That's
said, I
stupid.
just, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
You have an idea about it, it's plain stupid.
Yeah.
So have we figured out what this person's gonna get paid or anything?
it's all in the budget,
What?
you approved it last
Yeah.
month.
What was it,
But
do you
we were
remember?
gonna talk about it again, because we put it in case in advance.
45.
It's like 45.
45,000 and then all the Wisconsin retirement's in and the social security is in and then there's money toward health
Health
insurance.
insurance reimbursement.
Okay,
But there is a little bit of offset too for not having to have a 4th, if there's.
Right, we took money out of the paid on premise, we took money out of the paid on premise budget line item and moved it into that. Because I'm not gonna have to pay
Somebody to come
somebody
in.
to come in for that shift, they're taking
That
that shift, so I took what their wages would be.
so you got
For
3 people
that.
now instead of 4, because this guy's supposed to be very.
Gonna be here
Yeah.
all day, every day.
And then so the budget for paid on premises was reduced to 2 per day instead of 3.
Because we moved that into the fire prevention person, fire prevention person.
Are there any other questions? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Moving on to computer disposal. We have a couple of laptops that are not, they're very, very old. And they're not being used. And so I'm bringing it to the board to see how you wanna, instead of just keeping them here, do we wanna put them on like Wisconsin surplus? Sell them? Give them
Are they-
away?
Can you actually get anything? Like, I mean,
I
laptops go like so.
I don't think so, I mean, I don't want it.
That would be a just throw them away.
I wouldn't put them on Wisconsin surplus.
Yeah, it would take more time and energy than
Yeah.
So if somebody around here wanted one before we tossed it, or we toss it and they pick it out of the trash, it's okay?
Yep.
Alright, that's fine with me.
Do we wanna clean everything off of them before we
Oh,
dispose of them?
yes.
Okay,
I-
I'm just
I
checking.
would ask, maybe see, I don't know if, does Grant still do electronic, or ask if any of the other,
Well, I
because
can
it'd be
have,
considered e-waste is my only concern. I know Best Buy maybe, if they're going to be disposed, that would be where they,
Oh, yeah,
instead of
that's
just,
where I, that's
instead
where
of
I
just
think
normal trash, they really
Or
shouldn't
we
go
can
in there.
save them
yeah.
and do them next year when we do that
Do the-
e-recycling, that's
Yeah.
free.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can just put them in a box, but I will have somebody clean everything off of them before we wipe them off, before we.
Can help this sometime.
Well, once they're marked for disposal, they can be disposed of, and then if they're cleaned, we don't have any liability or anything like that, so.
So sit in boxes till next year and probably disappear on their own.
Yeah, and there aren't that many of them.
No,
And I don't know if we'll ever get ours back from the police department.
I don't know either. I have no idea, I haven't heard anything.
Me neither.
We need a motion.
Sure. Somebody wanna make it
I'll
motion?
make the motion to mark the surplus laptops as, waste for disposal, either until an appropriate electronic waste disposal time is, or after cleaning, for disbursement to interested parties.
That's a long motion. Did you get it, Doug?
He's still working.
I got, motion to mark surplus laptops as waste or after cleaning, to give to interested parties.
Sure.
For disposal.
Disposal,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there a second to that long motion?
I'll
Tom?
second it.
Tom's looking like he wants to second something.
You could have asked to have it repeated.
As long as you don't ask me to sing it.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey, donation acceptance.
Yeah, we were offered or given a donation here, I guess, for a grass fire we had out in the township. We responded very quickly, and helped him with his grass fire. I had a hard time reading this right in here. Please use this for your equipment fund. Thanks again, Dennis. So there's a $50 check here for equipment fund. He's got it earmarked for.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to accept the donation and put it into, you want it, into equipment fund.
I want it.
I will second that motion.
Okay. I will send them a thank you. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. The possible moving of funds, Heather, that's a question that you put on there.
So we used brush 9 at the Utica fire and let me do this, a valve broke off,
The drain valve on the bottom of the pump
and
rotted off.
rotted, it's original to the pump, 20 plus years.
20, 30 years probably.
Yeah, so, I mean, we got our money's worth, but in order to fix it, it's gonna cost us $2,700. And so I'm asking if we can move $3,000 from the training budget line item into one of the repair line items, so we can get this fixed. Right now, we have $7,272.91 left over in the training budget line item, because we haven't gone on seminars this year, because we just haven't had the time. So that would still leave us like approximately 4,000, a little over 4,000 for any other
But
training
you're not really
days.
gonna spend between now and the end of the
Right.
year.
Right, so, but it's there in case we needed, so, but yes, I'm asking to see if I can move 3,000 from there to one of the repair line items.
I'll make that motion.
Jonathan has made the motion, is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay,
What,
Mark.
how much?
3,000.
I do have just a question, are they gonna like weld it back on, or is the pump like housing replacement?
I'll explain a little bit. The bottom of the pipe that broke off is at the bottom of the pump.
Yep.
We tried taking an easy out to turn the other piece out, but the steel pipe corrodes at a different rate than the aluminum housing. So the problem is it's,
They got steel pipe and aluminum.
yeah, and the pump is 30 years old, 25, 30 years old. So we could take the pump off and weld the hole shut, but we can't drain the water out of it for winter operations. So possibly break the pump, crack it. We could put antifreeze in it to get us by to the first of the year here yet, but it would have to have a whole new pump replaced.
What's a new pump cost?
26,000,
A whole new pump,
What?
6,000,
How much?
at least 6,000.
yeah. That's the motor and everything.
Yeah.
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 We're just replacing the
We're just
pump.
paying the, yeah,
Off the motor.
It runs good, I mean.
Yeah, it's a Honda motor and it runs good. So they run forever.
Another 20
Yes.
years. Just
It's,
curious.
it's old.
And that's from Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
Just like I said, the Polaris is 20-some years old, you know, and that should be updated here.
what's the value?
That's the pump.
Okay.
It's a brand
Tell them to
new.
make sure they put some anti-seize in there, but put it back together.
Is there 30-year antifreeze or anti-seize out there?
Well, if it doesn't, you know, it really can't go anywhere when it's ground into the threads.
No, I agree with you. Anti-seize is good stuff, so. But we get another 20 years out of it.
Yeah,
30
we're gonna
years.
keep the whole
Yeah,
the
the
whole
truck will
piece
be,
of equipment
yeah.
probably won't be
Right.
doing us any good at that point.
If the
Yeah.
buggy goes back, you just put it on a new one, so.
Alright,
Any further discussion? All those in favor of moving $3,000 from training to a repair line, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, Heather, Webster's grant,
We'd like to apply for the Webster's grant, they're opening it up, I believe, in the next week. It's due the middle of December. The chiefs have been kind of tossing around ideas on what we would like to go for, there's a couple different ideas.
I thought you wanted to go for something for your tanks.
No, that's the firehouse subs.
Oh, firehouse subs, okay,
Yep, different grant.
refilling station.
okay.
So, we just need approval so that we can write for the grant. It's been tossed out that maybe we get the combi tool to finish off what has already been collected, from the citizens, from the donations that we've used.
That's a good idea.
There's been other ideas, so we're trying to figure out what's the most high priority item that we would like.
what's the value of the grant?
Up to 5,000.
Okay.
And what would the combi tool be?
We could go for a pump. We'll go for a pump.
You have to wait till next year.
The combi tool, we'd have to ask for the full 5,000.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I
you
think.
do have some.
Yeah, $550.
Yeah.
8,500.
So
So you'd
it's
have-
like $10,000 item, so we're
Oh,
gonna have to
okay.
figure that or go to the association and see or something. That's why we're kind of like,
Because
Talking
typically
about-
when you ask to write a grant, you tell us what it is you're writing for.
so, I don't.
Would someone like to make a motion
Okay.
to write the grant for a combi tool?
Why did they change their mind?
Then they don't write the grant.
Oh, man, you already read. But, you know, I agree that we need to know what they're writing it for, but it seems like tonight they really not sure.
And we're not sure we're gonna get the 5,000 either. We only might get 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you,
So-
Well,
if
if
we only
the
get
grant's
1,000.
not due till mid-December, then you come back to us in December and you request what it is you want, because we can't approve you writing a grant for something we don't know what it is.
Okay.
That's not how public the public's money works.
Does that give them enough time?
Yeah.
If they designate.
I mean, I think
for that
if we decide what we want, we can write it, we can have it ready and then just submit it once you guys approve it.
Yeah.
At the December
Because
second
the December
meeting,
meeting is
December 30th.
December 3rd.
So, I
Just
think it's
change
due
out that
December
one word,
12th or
whatever you
15th,
want. Correct.
so.
Yeah, you write it, yeah.
Just.
You can go ahead, we can give you approval to go ahead and write, but you need to come back with approval for the dollar amount. Because we did the same thing last year with the, that seeing through walls thing,
The imager.
Yeah.
the thermal imager. You can't,
Okay.
because it's public money, they have to know what we're doing
Nope.
with it.
Nope, we can have it all written up and then just wait for your approval.
Yeah,
Submit it.
change your mind on something.
Okay.
So that'll be on the next agenda.
Just a question, they're still doing Webster's grant?
Yep.
Yes, they
Yeah,
are.
the
It's a different,
foundation
it's,
needs.
it's a different, yeah, it's a different entity, so.
Okay, that's
And
the
then
foundation.
Hy-Vee will also have a foundation.
Nice.
Okay, so the next item is actually mine. You have in your packet Lexipol. It's, this is a group, cause I was on the computer looking for, foundations to apply for, turnout gear. I was gonna, probably, it looks like I'll have to do 3 different foundations for 3 different sets of turnout gear, cause nobody's gonna fund $18,000 worth of turnout gear, but they might do a $6,000 package. So when I was doing that, then of course everybody comes out of the woodwork to ask if they can help. And Lexipol is a group that has written for FEMA grants, and the FEMA grants are very difficult. And they're proposing to write $130,500 grant for all of our radios, the handheld radios, not the truck radios, for $3,000. If we do get the grant from FEMA, FEMA then rebates us $1,500 of that grant. And the fire district has used them in the past. In 2018, there was a grant written to FEMA for,
SCBA's,
what is that?
self-breathing apparatus, or
Oh,
your
your
tanks.
oxygen tanks?
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys remember that you didn't get the grant, but it was, this group wrote for the grant.
So your reference is, we used them and they didn't get it?
Right. But I don't know if the board was aware that this was done, I'm not sure.
I was aware that we did the
You were,
tanks,
okay.
but I didn't know it was this group, I don't recall
Right.
that.
So what, if we use them, the grant has opened, and if we use them, I still have to write the narrative. I still have to go in and write the narrative. I just have a difficult time navigating the FEMA portal. We're on there, I got us reinstated, because in 2018, apparently we expired. So between Heather and I, we've gone in and we're back in the queue that we can write, but it's confusing. So,
So worst case, we're out 3,000, we don't get it, best case, we get all new
100.
radios plus 1,500 back.
Back.
3,000.
that's the deal.
It's a good gamble.
It actually is, because they said, because if your radios, I've spent a lot of time on this, if your radios are more than 10 years old, they want to really help you. FEMA wants you to have new radios. And then the same thing with the turnout gear. We've got a kid in class right now using turnout gear that's 20 years old.
Yeah, we gotta get them new stuff
And,
before
and
it starts out.
that's the narrative I have to write when I start writing the foundations for the turnout gear, is that the turnout gear is anywhere from 10 to 20 years old, because they want new turnout gear with all that protective stuff for the firefighters.
So you gotta make us look poor, you're saying.
We are poor. They don't have to make us look poor.
Rip your clothes, John. Rip your clothes a little bit.
I'm making a motion that we approve the application, or I don't know how to word this, the application for a FEMA grant through Lexipol for $3,000.
Okay,
I don't know if that was worded right.
I think it was. There's, looks like he wants to second it.
Sure, I'll second.
Okay,
We don't have to pay this like right now, she said.
no, I
They'll
have to,
invoice us, but
I have to sign the
okay,
document
yeah.
and then I can do that tomorrow. And then I'm gonna have to write the narrative. So as we've been collecting information, Craig T-Bond has been terrific to work with because he has that geo thing. Is it what, I call it
Tracking.
geocaching, but I don't know if
It's
it's geofencing.
Oh, yeah.
So in previous grants, they'd always written, we have a population of around 12,000 with the towns. But we have over 700 visitors to the area on an annual basis.
700?
700,000,
So,
and of that, 68,000 come back. So our population swells significantly during the summer, also during the holiday season with Dickens and those sorts of things. So that needs to go into the narrative. So I've been collecting information which shows that we swell, and as a public safety or agency, we're not just serving that 12,000. We're serving that 700,000 that come into the area. So I was surprised by the numbers.
All our mutual aid calls too, that we
Yeah.
assist with the small communities around us.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, agendas for future meetings. We were told by our auditors, we need policies and procedures language for our finance processes, so we'll work on that. Association check writing, they wanted a solution on that too.
Okay.
Okay, and then I put down apply for the Webster's Foundation grant. Is there anything else we need to put on?
I would like to put on another PAA update, just to,
Okay,
if any of us hears anything more from,
well, you should all have met with them by then, I would
hopefully,
think.
that's,
Well, were they planning this in person or on the phone?
I'm thinking, I would prefer in person, I thought.
I think they prefer in person also,
Okay.
or just by the way they talk when they come to get the reports.
I think
Mhm.
my meeting was an hour and a half.
Mhm.
I just had a question that I should have asked in the chief's report for you guys, without saying, because I think part of it was in closed session, so without saying that, but the incident that happened, is everyone all good from that? Nobody was,
And actually, engine 16 is back.
Yep.
It's been fixed and repaired.
That's the one with the bent up ladder.
Yeah,
Where'd that go to get fixed?
Reynolds, Mark the van,
Get it done in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I thought it was gonna be done longer if it was, they had to pay.
Should we put truck status on there?
yeah, sure. The new
We
truck
had it in
status.
January too, truck status.
Must be on these people say something people that. What exactly do they wanna know, just like fuel on it, or?
I think so. I mean, I had to explain to them that they seem very, there's some things they suggested which I said no to. There's, their goal, I think, is different than ours. Their goal is to actually put a plan together for the city to consider combining the two. And that's how it was given to me. Cause I was surprised because I mean, they can make a plan, but I don't know how things would be funded.
Yeah, I think they do a plan, what they could better do on their own and what they could do if they were together, I mean.
I think it's just gonna be together. I don't think it's gonna be on their own, cause right now they're an enterprise fund, which means they're not supposed to get levy. They get a little levy, but they're not supposed to get levy. And so I think they're looking at efficiencies with regard to staffing. Because a lot of our daytime guys are already EMS certified.
Most, yeah.
Yeah, they're EMS certified and they're certified as firefighter 1 or 2. And so that's, I think, the staff that they're looking at. And I don't, but they have to have paid on call. You cannot do this without paid on call. So the mix has to continue as, it has to be a hybrid. We have to have paid on call, and then you have to have paid on premises. But the paid on premises, I think what they're looking at is that dual certification with EMS and fire, which has already been going on. Not everybody has that, but a lot of the younger day guys do.
I think PAA was directed to look at the feasibility of combining EMS and fire for the city of Ripon, which, what does feasibility mean? I don't know, that's kind of a, you know, so they're, I think at the end of their, you know, at the end of their work, they're gonna have something in their hand that says, well, we believe that this would benefit, you know, not only your budget, but also hopefully then keep your services at the level you're expecting.
Yeah, because there's a certain, I think they'll ask you things that I couldn't answer, like, what is a good, what do you think is a good response time? I don't know what
That's better.
So that's stuff that they asked me that I couldn't, like I said, I'm limited with what I can do because I don't know about response times. I don't know about engines. I don't know about that stuff. I just know administratively and structurally how I think things should be. That's my skill set. My skill set isn't the others. And you guys have been on here longer than I have, so you have an idea about engines and you have an idea about response times. That's why I think they're gonna have to talk to you guys about some of that stuff.
I think the reports they got was, you know, arrival times and how many calls we have, what kind of calls we have and stuff like that. So,
Done?
Yeah, well, we're kind of off the agenda here a bit, but I would like to tell everybody just to look on the City of Wapon's website. BAA did a study for them. Of course, they're different, but they also have a lot of other weird stuff with their fire and EMS down there too. So if you want to read about what their study might look like for us or how they're going to approach it, I believe it's on the City of Wapon's website.
So
Do that.
we'll put it
It's
on
quite
under old
lengthy.
business next time, but then maybe we'll all know more.
Well, I think, you know, I just like to know more. You know, it's the fact that we're complying to the market. You know, I'd like to know how this is gonna work.
Yeah, I think everybody would.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, as far as funding and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah,
question.
you know,
Don't be shy, that's
Yeah,
away.
that's
the only question you want.
be
I'm
honest.
usually pretty shy.
Yeah, you are.
Gary's very shy,
I mean,
painfully,
beyond, I mean,
painfully shy.
if you don't tell them how you feel, you don't, you know, they're not gonna know, so you kinda have to put it out there. Yep.
but I think that would be one of the, okay, I don't want to go too much, but that's one of the biggest questions with the way that our fire district is that we are a coordinated group of municipalities.
And we're different than most.
And that is a big question, that is a big, how would you even begin to navigate that? So I think, you know, from your perspective as a municipality, what do you expect to happen at the end of any changes, if there are any changes? You know, what do you-
Yeah, and I think they're gonna ask you, like they asked me, what do you think is a good response time? But you guys might have an idea.
It's like 2 minutes.
I don't know.
I'd be too
2 minutes.
I was amazed when we had the green light was going up there. it's interesting to know that, because that's really quite a ways away.
Well, if there are no more questions, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Great, that was exactly an hour.